Why do they say you should not be too honest? I believe that after reading the experience of the old monk, you will have the answer in your heart. He went down the mountain with dried food. The old monk was about to cross a wooden bridge. A voice came from beside him. A blind man wanted his help to cross the river. The old monk made a few attempts to make sure he really needed help, carried him on his back. This guy was secretly laughing behind his back. While the old monk was crossing the river, he reached into his bag to steal food. The old monk is sweating profusely, and this guy eats in comfort. Soon, the two of them reached the other side of the river. Without realizing it, the old monk's bag was taken away by the other. The old monk went up to him, but the blind man said it was his own bag. He shouted that someone was bullying the handicapped. Not long after, villagers in the neighborhood watched. What they saw was the old monk grabbing the blind man's bag. The village chief stopped them. He asked them to tell him what was in the bag. Whoever was right, the bag would go to him. The old monk said, "Inside are 5 buns, 6 steamed buns and 3 siumai." The blind man said there were 3 buns, 5 steamed buns and 1 roasted wheat. The mayor opened the bag to check its contents. It was just as the blind man had said. The old monk then realized that he had stolen his snacks. He grabbed him by the collar and asked him to return it. He was thrown rotten eggs by the villagers and called him a liar. The old monk could only leave. He'd learned his lesson once. The old monk still hadn't learned his lesson. He came here to buy a water jar. The cunning merchant looked at the old monk and soon sensed an opportunity. The merchant expressed his admiration for the old monk, wanted a copy of the old monk's autograph, the old monk's happy signature. Then the boss said he wanted to see the old monk's martial arts skills, and then he'll get him a water tank and send him directly to the temple. The old monk was embarrassed, but then the man used the old monk's performance, attracted a large number of customers. The water tank was sold quickly. The old monk was performing hard on the side. He counted the money until he got cramps. This old monk is really something. The more people there are, the harder he performs. As the door closed, they've all left. The water tanks in the yard are all sold out. The men cleaned up the yard. Finally, they threw him out. The old monk has been cheated twice today. Not long after, he passed by another inn. The old monk was drooling over the delicious food. The lady boss knew what he was thinking, so she rang the little yellow duck. When the old monk heard it, his stomach started growling. "I'm sorry if I don't eat." He just sat down. The woman brought a basin of hot water. In the blink of an eye, the food was ready for him. I must say the service is really considerate. The boss's wife poured him a cup of hot tea. But as soon as he drank the water, the boss's wife showed a bad smile. The old monk also began to feel the sky spinning. He finally fainted. Looks like this is another shady shop. The young monk took the binoculars, always checking the situation outside. Seeing that the master is back, he immediately returned to the temple, put the axe on the stake. Then he put his clothes in a basin of water. He stepped on them a few times and took them to dry. Finally, he picked up a broom and started sweeping the floor. When he saw the master, he was confused, because he was already covered in wounds. He only had a waistcoat and trousers left on his body. The young monk cried in pain when he saw the scene. He said he had chopped wood today and washed the clothes, sweeping the floor, but the master looked distracted. The young monk asked what happened. Now he couldn't stand it any longer. The turning point in life is often at the lowest point. Leave a message in the comments section. Wish me luck. All the wishes I made in 2023 will come true. Go ahead and try it. The next day, he took his master down the mountain. Then he came to a wooden bridge and met a blind man. He asked a passerby to help him. The little monk saw this, cupped his throat and said,
这是谁的包啊？哪儿呢？哪儿呢？哪儿呢？哪儿呢？救命啊！
The master was puzzled. What's going on here? However, he had his next step. In a few moments, he rescued the blind man. The blind man asked for the name of his benefactor. He told him he was the innkeeper's wife, and told him the man was the owner of a ceramics shop. The blind man kicked in the door. While he was in a daze, the blind man took a hammer and smashed the tank. The boss didn't understand what was happening. He rushed to stop him. Boss Wang asked him what happened, and asked who started the rumor. The blind man told him he was saved by the innkeeper's wife. She saw everything. Boss Wang was beaten up so badly. In order to vent his anger, he fought with the innkeeper's wife. The boss's wife said she was wrongly accused. When she learnt it was the blind man who told her, she was furious. She rushed up and fought with the blind man. Now, the conflict between the three grew bigger and bigger, finally achieved the purpose of the young monk.